this edition of the Roundball Report, we'll present you with a follow-up feature on Princess Aguirre of South Lakes High School. We'll recap the week that was for the local high school, college, and professional basketball scene, present you with a special feature on the Wizards versus the Bulls, and recap the week for the Wizards and the rest of the NBA with our very own Kelsey Nelson and Brandy Simms of the PG Sentinel. So sit back, relax, get ready for your weekly dose of serious hoop talk, because the Roundball Report is next.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
And welcome to another edition of the Roundball Report, the only show in the area dedicated to highlighting the exploits of the high school, college, and professional basketball teams which play in the Washington metropolitan area. And here with me again is my co-host, former Sidwell Friends and Duke University star Janae Hayes. Janae, welcome back.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And actually, the Wizards' success has continued into the new year.
It absolutely has.
We'll get into that in a lot more detail later on, but we're going to get things started and talk to our guests about what's going on in the local high school and college basketball scene.
And we're joined today by Kelsey Nelson, a recent graduate of the University of Maryland with that gleaming smile. Welcome, Kelsey. And we're joined in studio by Brandy Simms of the PG Sentinel, who, as I said before, knows everything about high school basketball.
Well, I've been doing it so long, that's why I know a lot.
Yeah, well, Brandy, one thing that you do know is actually my former co-host, Christy Winter-Scott, is the coach of South Lakes High School, and they're having a very, very good year, and one of her seniors is committed to the University of Pennsylvania, Princess Aguirre, and our very own Kamal Wilson went out and covered the signing, and he also had a chance to do this follow-up package of a recent game against Madison, so check it out.
Don't let her quiet demeanor fool you. This South Lake superstar is a quiet storm. Princess Aguirre is a University of Pennsylvania commit. Last time we caught up with her, she was signing her letter of intent. She's averaging 17 points and 10 rebounds on the season and put in a special performance tonight versus Madison. Ultimately, the team battled into an overtime defeat, but did not take away a gem of a performance in her crowning achievements. We caught up with her afterward.
I was seeing the Roundball Report with Princess, who scored 31 points tonight. A close game. Princess, how would you assess your performance tonight versus your typical game?
I think it was more aggressive and just trying to get back, because we were losing the whole entire game. So I was just trying to keep it moving and just keep scoring, and because I knew that we could win. And I was just trying to catch up to them.
Oh, I saw there were multiple times where the team was down, and I don't know what Coach Scott said to you in the huddle, if you spoke to your teammates, but you came out crashing the boards, making those assists, and you kept the game close all the way. In terms of your UPenn scholarship, do you feel like a weight off your shoulders, you need to play a little bit more loose?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to a lot of people in my class are just stressing about college and where they're going to get in, but it's yeah, it is stress off my shoulders, because I know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course. And how has Coach Scott kind of coached you, kind of handle this season? I know you have 1 foot out the door, but you still have your team vested here.
Just probably a leader type, but this year I really had to step up, because most of the years I've been underclassmen with upperclassmen, so they're leading me. So then this year it's it's my turn, and so I have to lead the team.
Yeah, I think it's good, especially you coming in with the high profile of UPenn. I'm sure sophomores and juniors will be looking at you with more leadership positions. What would you tell your teammates? How would you look to move forward from this game?
Now we know we can beat them, so next time it's just about beating them earlier in the game. I know we're young, but we have a lot of ability. and it's just about like who's the smarter player at that point. So.
Very good. Thank you so much, Princess.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, thanks.
Tonight's final score of the South Lakes game was 65-63. Princess Aguirre scored an incredible 31 points on top of 30 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Just an incredible feat. You can see why UPenn gave her the full ride. In addition to that, she is very optimistic about how she's handled herself, building up the leadership of her team, as well as going forward. Just taking advice from Coach Scott. She's in great hands, and I know that UPenn is getting a blessing. For Kamal Wilson reporting for the Roundball Report, back to you guys in the studio.
Great job, Kamal. And Andrew, we were just talking about that 31 points and 30 rebounds, and you said that's what I used to do at Ciba. No, I've never, ever had 30 rebounds, ever. So that is a tremendous feat. And speaking of tremendous feats, Brandy, you and I were talking about the young lady out at Flowers, and, you know, what is her season looking like? I think she's injured right now. But
Right.
Is she, first of all, a person capable of getting 31 and 30 at the high school level?
Oh, yeah. She's... we talked earlier. I've been talking to her father, and she will be, I guess.
And her name again?
If it comes to Dejanay Boykin, I'm sorry. She will be, I guess, the first public school player in Prince George's County to earn McDonald's All-American honors if she's named a McDonald's All-American, which I think is going to happen. It's going to happen, but she's just a phenomenal player. I mean, she's signed with UConn, so we know what type of player she is when you sign with UConn.
And UConn has only had, I think 3 players out of this area. Her,
Amy Durant.
Amy Durant. Oh, yeah. Well,
Courtney Gain
her.
from Whitman High School
and there's
back in the
one
90s.
More.
The girl from Good Counsel.
No, the girl from H.D. Woodson, Jamil Elliott.
Yeah, and then Carly McLaurin. Yeah, Jamel Elliott's now coach
and Kylie McLaurin.
Cincinnati, coach at Cincinnati, Jamel Elliott. Yeah, I mean, UConn, you know, it's always a coup when they're able, Gino Ariam is able to come down here and recruit one of our top players.
And the DMV is a powerhouse on the men and women's side, a bevy, a hotbed for talent.
Right, there's a ton of talent. I know Montgomery County gets a bad rap, but there's a lot of talent coming out of Montgomery County. I've seen some great talent, and a young man, Andrew Kosteka, just came back from a quad injury, plays for Clarksburg High School. He's only a junior. He's already committed to Holy Cross up in Massachusetts. Anthony Tark plays for Gaithersburg High School, a senior, probably one of the top players in Montgomery County.
What about the kid at River Hill?
River Hill, Charlie Thomas. Oh yeah, he's signed with Wisconsin, so he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he's legit. He's legit.
Yes.
And of course, Kelsey, all of these people are trying to aspire to get to the collegiate level where you're Terps. That's one of the reasons you're beaming. The Terps on the men and the women's side are in the top half of the top 25. And Maryland men had their first hiccup in the Big Ten, a loss at Illinois, but they responded with another road victory against Purdue over the weekend.
Right, and the win against Illinois is no shock to everyone. You didn't see that coming, and I know they dropped now in the polls to number 14 from number 11, but still good, obviously, now. That puts them between Wichita State and North Carolina. But I think after watching the Purdue game, we're getting back on to where we need to be. Melo Trimble's again leading. Des Wells finally, finding his groove with the offense, and hopefully that carries on Wednesday against Rutgers and Saturday against Michigan State at home.
And Brandy, on the women's side, the University of Maryland women have gotten off to a 4-0 start in Big Ten play after taking they lost to Oregon State and got pounded by Notre Dame. But it's actually a positive on the basketball side for the men and women to change to the Big Ten Conference. So far, so good.
Yeah, I think that ACC playing against the likes of Duke, North Carolina, those ACC powers. I mean, that's preparing them for this Big Ten competition. And Brenda Fries, she came from Minnesota, so she knows she's coached in the Big Ten before. So it's definitely no surprise to her.
And they pulled off their victory at Minnesota the other day, just yesterday, 77-73 to get the 4-0, and now they're at the top of the Big Ten Conference standing. The Lady Terps all by their lonesome.
Right, exactly. And going off the Minnesota game, I keep hearing DeMonte Dodd's name, and it's kind of excited seeing that on the men's side and seeing how much he's emerged. Gary Williams especially gave him high praise, and obviously that's a big thing coming from him. But hopefully that carries on, and I know we're 3 of 4 against Big Ten teams, so that's great. So I think we're faring up with the Big Ten Conference.
Right. You see the we.
Yeah. That's okay. Stay biased. I am.
Speaking of which, Duke men and women. You guys lost. They got
momentary
smacked.
setback. Momentary
Quinn
setback.
Cook did have 18 points in that loss. But big shout out to, I guess, the BJ Anya and NC State for coming up with that big upset of Duke. It's a big momentum builder for that
First
program.
loss of the year for the Blue Devils.
First loss, and we need to lose. We need to lose before the ACC tournament and definitely before the NCAA. So, this is all a learning process. When you lose, you find out your deficiencies and you work on them.
Okay, Coach K. So what are the Duke women going to learn from getting pounded by Florida State?
I don't know. I know when we lost to Florida State, Coach G was not a happy camper.
But going back to the men's side, on the national level, there were a lot of upsets, and you're going to see that when conference play gets started because the big names, you can just throw the jersey out on the court and you can win the non-conference games. But in conference, it's like paying your big brothers. They don't care who you are. They don't care what the record is, as was shown by Rutgers beating Wisconsin.
And shout out to Eddie Jordan, another local guy coming up with that
Carroll
big
High
upset
School?
over Wisconsin. Yeah, I mean people talk about the players, but a lot of coaches, a lot of local products are coaching. We got JT3, who's Gonzaga alum. Louisville, Kenny Johnson, Rick Pitino's assistant, is from there. He coached under Glenn Farrello at one time. Kevin Sutton, who's at Georgetown, was the Montrose Christian coach, coached at McNamara. Mike Lonergan, Carroll alum. So a lot of talent. Cliff Maryland even. Cliff Warren. Even on Mark Turge's staff, Cliff Warren and Nima Amnavar, both from Montgomery County. So
of course, Tommy Amaker.
Yeah, Tommy Amaker, who actually happens to be cousins with Kevin Sutton over at Georgetown. So a lot of local connections throughout college basketball, which is good to see.
Right. But Kelsey, on the women's side, nobody's talked about it, but number one throughout the year has been South Carolina. They're doing incredible things.
Right. I don't know how they fell through the wayside, but they're doing great things, and it's great to see that. Which was my Lady Terps obviously up there, but it's great seeing how much they've evolved, and honestly, I think they have a run for the full title.
And it's a testament to Don Staley because as a point guard, everyone says that point guards always make better coaches because they understand the game. Well,
they have to.
Maybe
they got to know everything. They got to
know everything, yeah. And so when you take a coach, a player like she was, because she wasn't just your average point guard. She was an Olympian. She was in the WNBA for 10 plus years. She understands the games to another level. And her ability to recruit has brought this type of success because she started at Temple and she brought in the young lady, she plays for Chicago. I can't think of her name right now, but we saw her evolve as a player, and now she's taking that. Dupree, Candace Dupree. She's taken that type of success and whatever she's learned in coaching for Temple and brought it down to South Carolina. And because of her name notoriety, it has helped on the recruiting side.
Right, without doubt. And getting back to the men's side, Brandy, we saw Louisville. Now they're in the ACC, and they're having to go down Tobacco Road, and they took a hit against North Carolina over the weekend.
Right, great game. I mean, North Carolina had Nate Britt, a local product, and Louisville had the young man Chinanu from who played for Lou Wilson at Riverdale Baptist. So, like I said, all these local guys. You watch these games. I mean, it seems like all these teams have local guys. I saw Pitt and Boston College play, and Pitt had James Robinson and Boston College had Garland Owens from Magruder High School.
Villanova has Josh Hart from Sidwell Friends.
Josh Hart and Chris.
and Chris from Gonzaga.
Chris Jenkins,
Sidwell a shout out.
No, because that's
big.
Yeah,
that's
huge.
major.
Yeah. He was Big East Rookie of the Year, wasn't he? I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Josh is doing great things. And on the national front, the Terps so far so good in Big Ten. Three out of their first four. They got a big week coming up. They got Rutgers, who's coming fresh off of knocking off Wisconsin. But they get a chance to, they loaded their top four games with 3 road games, so they get a chance to try to make some hay at home. And the students should be back pretty soon, right?
Exactly right. I know they get back to school. So yes, graduating on January 26th. But I know 8 of their 12 next games are at home, so that's a big thing. Obviously, you want to play at home, especially in college. And I know a lot of people are talking about Melo Trimble and how he's been on the road and it's been great, and he hasn't responded. He's responded very well to everyone hyping him up, like he's still playing well. But I think at home we're going to get those wins, and I think we'll be back to the top of the AP poll.
All right. Yeah, and I've already tweeted that he's going to be not only the Rookie of the Year, but Big East Player of the Year, or the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Okay. All right. Bold prediction.
All right.
We're going to go.
We'll see though.
We're going to go to a break right now. We'll return on the other side with a special feature with Janae on the recent game with the Wizards against the Chicago Bulls. And we'll recap the week that was for the Wizards and the rest of the NBA with Kelsey Nelson and Brandy Simms on the other side. So stay with us.
What you doing, Dad?
My favorite thing.
Really, Dad, what are you doing?
Paying bills. Every month a stack of them come, just as regular as the rain.
What's this one?
That's a special one, son. I pay it first.
How come?
It's money for my retirement account. I put some money aside each month, just like I was paying a bill.
Wouldn't you rather buy something?
I don't want to work forever, and I don't want you to have to support me in my old age. In a way, I'm buying peace of mind. I'm on the installment plan.
As promised, we're back to catch tonight's heavily contested matchup versus the Chicago Bulls. Now, if you recall the first matchup, Calipari's first #1 draft pick put his team on his shoulders and led them to victory. Now tonight, will his second #1 draft pick be able to return the favor? And I have a question for all of you guys out there. Has Chicago replaced Cleveland as the Wizards' arch nemesis?
I thought they came out, our guys came out tonight, both offensively and defensively. You know, this is probably by far John's best game in terms of the pace of the game from an offensive standpoint. And that makes a world of difference. For us to score 60 in the first half was based on our pace of play. And it's just not fast break layups. It's, you know, ball's knocked out of bounds, the ball's thrown into him, he's pushed the ball up into the front court. Now we got 20 seconds on the shot clock to really run our offense. And against good teams like that, you have to have the ability to pass the ball. And that's been something that we haven't done a good job with, and tonight John was excellent. You know, and we just, in the second half, he didn't change that in the second half. The ball stuck in our hands too much. You know, we didn't make the extra pass right away and got us in a little bit of trouble that we got to stay away from. But our effort, both ends of the floor tonight, was outstanding.
The biggest key is to make sure we play physical and make sure we hit Gasol and Noah whenever possible, just to get them uncomfortable. And I think our bigs did a tremendous job of guarding them, made it tough for them, making them put the ball on the floor, try to make tough hook shots over them and everything like that, and the rest of us crashed to the board. So you definitely took your hat off to our bigs.
But we haven't had time to look at film. We didn't look at film yesterday, and you know, with the back-to-back, we probably don't get time to look at it tomorrow. So we just got to find ways to make the game easy for everyone, and guys are just missing their shots right now.
I think we were just patient. I mean, we had a lot of pace into the game, and we got stagnant a little bit at the point where we had a lot of pace, but we was holding the ball, not moving it. But the way our defense played tonight, we had an opportunity to stop their run at times when we wasn't making shots, and that was key for us.
And what they bring to the table on Sunday.
Well, we got to look at what we did. We was a close game with those guys for the last 5 minutes again, so we got to look what coach is going to tell us about film and make our adjustments to guarding those guys. And I think our defense is a lot better than what it was when we played those guys early in the season.
We won like 22 out of the last 24, so I mean they're extremely hot. So we gotta just do the same thing we did tonight. Just come out and play the same way, move the ball, share the ball, and it starts on the defensive end as well. So whenever we just have to come out locked in, ready to go, and view it as a playoff game.
Brandy, was this in any way kind of implementing what you guys what happened over that road trip, or were you guys down the stretch struggling a little bit tonight, kind of keeping
For sure. I think the biggest thing for us is we stay poised. We know we got up to double-digit leads several times throughout the game, and they came back within a few points. But we know that teams are going to go on runs, and with a great team like that, you can always expect that. But I think we did a great job retaliating and getting that lead back up to double digits whenever possible.
Wizards split the series tonight, bringing it to 1-1. And John Wall definitely did return the favor to the tune of 16 points and 12 assists. And tonight, as I sat in the Verizon Center, I heard the chants of MVP emanate from every corridor in the arena. And you know what? I have to agree that he has arrived. This is Janae Hayes for the Roundball Report. Now back to the studio.
Great
job, Janae, and thanks to our cameraman, Ron Owens. And now we're here in the studio with Kelsey Nelson and Brandy Simms, and they had an incredible game against Chicago, big statement game, but then laid an egg against Atlanta, so it was a missed bag over the weekend. And as we were saying in the green room, people have to start taking the Hawks seriously. They were up by 3.5 games in the Eastern Conference for the #1 seed.
Right. The Wizards literally got killed. I remember watching that game. I was at a conference on Sunday, and I was watching the game. It was, 120-89. It was embarrassing for them, especially coming off the Bulls' big win. But the Hawks, like you said, need to be taken seriously. They've won 22 of 24 games. Like, there's a reason why they're that good. And I thought the size difference would help the Wizards, but it kind of, helped the Hawks just because they couldn't guard them. It was just like a 3-point clinic, and the Wizards, just looked really bad.
And Brandy, what is the coach? Is it Budenholzer? I think he came from San Antonio, the Atlanta Hawks coach. I think his name is Budenholzer or something like that. But anyway, I'll go along. Trust me on that one. But the Hawks, no, because they don't have a superstar. They don't have one superstar. They've got Al Horford. They've got the what's the guy? The power forward.
Millsap.
They've got Millsap, and they've got Jeff Teague at the point guard, and they've got a bunch of role players playing the San Antonio system in the Eastern Conference, and they're just putting in major work. Them in Toronto, nobody is giving them any love right now.
I know who the assistant coach is for Atlanta Hawks. Charles Lee played at Quincy Orchard High School. He was assistant at Bucknell, and over the summer he got a job as an assistant with Atlanta Hawks. Like I say, he's a local Montgomery County guy. Part of that those Atlanta Hawks franchise that's really tearing up the league right now.
Okay. So, Kelsey, okay. So, was he in San Antonio? Anyway,
actually, he did. He tried out for the Spurs.
No, I'm talking about the coaching pedigree. The system that they're running that's getting them out front. Kelsey, you a shot. So the Hawks, we got the Hawks in Toronto are 1-2. The Wizards in Chicago are right there at 3-4, and Cleveland is trying to build up the arms race. What's your thought about? Do you think that the King is really injured, or you think he was laying out because he wasn't happy with what he's like? Why should I be playing on these arthritic knees at 29?
Right.
Actually, he just turned 30.
30.
He just turned 30. When we're not playing the right way. And they made some major moves last week. Picked up J.R. Smith and what's the other kid from?
Iman Shumpert.
Shumpert, and they traded 2 number 1s for Timothy Moskov, who played for their coach over in Russia, but the results haven't really manifested themselves on the court so far. What are your thoughts about that trade?
I think the trade is good. LeBron, I don't think he's really hurt. I think he's just hurt. He's always hurt in certain situations, but I think the trade is going to benefit them better and to the team LeBron wants to be and the team that Cleveland, brought him in back to be.
And do you think he's pulling a power play diva type move, Brandy?
I think he just wants to give some limelight to Kyrie Irving.
Those Dookies, they need to get their shit.
We don't need it. We earn it. How about that?
Yeah. So exactly how many playoff games has he played in?
That's right. Don't worry about it. That's my new shit right now. He's still early in his career. That's okay. He's going to be a perennial all-star.
He said, Kyrie, I'm going to take the year off. This is your show.
All you.
Well, he got the All-Star game and be playing with those All-Stars.
And see, he wins and gets MVP of that. Hello.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they played more than one game during the season. It's an 82 game schedule.
But listen, even with that, Coach Blatt made the comment, I think, a couple of days ago that Kevin Love isn't a max level player. What does that do for team chemistry? It's true. But you're a coach.
When you're trying to get the max out of that player.
Like, is he, Kelsey, do you think that he's just caught in a system where he can't thrive and they just haven't started to learn each other? But if that is the case, what type of effect do you think that type of statement is going to have on Kevin Love?
Right. If my coach said that about me, I don't know how I would play. And obviously, you want your team to believe in them. Even the Knicks, I'm sure their coach believes in them. We all, even though they're struggling. But as Kevin Love, if I want to do better, I need him to say that. And Kevin Love is a great player, so to say that would injure me. And I really hope he bounces back from that.
Yeah, but Brandy, in all honesty, and that's one of the things I concern myself about with Kyrie and Kevin Love was it's easy to put up big numbers while you're losing because the numbers don't matter. Somebody's got to score points.
Right.
You're losing by 20 points, but if you're going to score about 80, 85 a night, somebody's got to score 25 or 30 of those points. And Kevin Love, if you are really a max type player, even in the competitive Western Conference, you should at least make the playoffs, sniff the playoffs one time. They haven't even been close throughout his career in Minnesota.
Right. I think a lot of people thought once, LeBron went from Miami to Cleveland, the big three in Cleveland, that was really going to be a big force. But we're seeing that maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be.
And as we take it out west, Golden State, and it's another team. I'm still not buying that style for the postseason. I mean, they're great to watch. They're very entertaining. It's tough to catch on the second night of a back-to-back, especially in Golden State. But are you a believer that they're actually the #1 team in the league right now?
No, I agree with you. I think it's working now, but as the season continues, I don't see it continuing. But I guess that's a positive for the Wizards, coming since they did struggle against West Coast teams, that hopefully they can go back to the West Coast and continue that style of play.
But Golden State's a good team. I mean,
I'm not questioning they're a good team, but are they the best team in the league?
And Curry. That's still
that's the issue.
I think the jury's still out, but they do have enough talent to make a run.
No doubt, but is it? But the arms race we were talking about, everybody's getting ready for Okafor. We saw the Knicks do some dumping, and Boston said, "Hey, wait a minute, we got some. We can trade our last few guys." What do you think about the trade moves that happened last week? With the Knicks jumped off. They got rid of J.R. Smith and Shumpert. The Celtics made a few trades. Did the Jeff Green trade go through?
I think it went through.
Yeah, they shipped him out to Memphis. That's going to be huge for Memphis.
Yeah.
Who got shipped out to Memphis?
Jeff Green.
I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. Jeff Green leaving the Celtics. I mean, I don't know if you're the Celtics, why you trading Jeff Green, because he was the man on that team from what I saw.
They're trying to win the lottery.
Jeff Green was doing some big things in Boston. And for them to, let him go, I think was a huge mistake for them.
Brandy's doing big things for the Sentinel. You're doing PG and
Montgomery and Prince George's County. And you can follow me on Twitter at BLS1969.
And Kelsey, they can catch you right here. Great job as always. That's going to do it for this edition. I know you enjoyed it. It was informative and action-packed. And you can look forward for more discussion on the latest activities on the local high school, college, and professional basketball front on future shows.
And remember, if it's happening on the court, we will definitely be around the ball. And for all of you aspiring hoop stars out there, remember that getting your education is the first step to making your hoop dreams come true. So until next time, I'm Janae Hayes.
And I'm Andrew Dyer for the Roundball Report. Good night.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
What's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay, but remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Michelle Garcia served meritoriously in Iraq and has the medals to prove it. Soon after leaving the Navy, Lieutenant Chris Scott found a job, a home, and started a family of his own. Corpsman Richard Stokely took the skills he learned in Vietnam and put them to good use as a paramedic. But soon after leaving the military, each of these veterans fell on hard times and faced homelessness. Even after Michelle lost all her savings, even after Chris wasn't able to pay his mortgage, and even after Richard battled alcoholism for years, they each reached out for help when they needed it most. A simple phone call put them in touch with a trained professional from the Department of Veterans Affairs. That call got Michelle a place to stay until she could afford one of her own, put Chris in touch with employment assistance, and found Richard a substance abuse program. These veterans are success stories not only for how they were able to help